Micron just reported their latest quarterly figures, pretty good quarter, beat for the quarter, and even for guidance, we've got some good comments on HBM as well. So as a shareholder, I'm pretty happy. Stock was up 5%, now we're only up 2%. Okay, the market will do whatever it wants, especially after hours. Volume and big moves will probably only happen on Friday. Now, after this video, I'll probably make a earnings recap of Nike. If you're interested in that, let me know down in the comment section below. Hit all the buttons, like, subscribe, all of that. We'll really appreciate it. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/investor. Thank you very much. Now, by the way, just a quick FYI, right? The market and a lot of semiconductor stocks are down year to date. Well, not Micron. Micron is actually up over 20% year to date. So yes, here another outlier, another contrarian name for 2025. Now looking at the main overview here for Micron. So for the quarter, as you can see, beats across the board. The only small miss here is gross margin, but of course we did cover that a couple of weeks ago. Management already told us that they're expecting some headwinds, so some margin headwinds. Actually, that was expected to be a bit worse than this. So only a 48 basis points miss. So we're still good. Number came in at 37.9%. Consensus wanted 38.4%, but all the rest here revenue beat by 1.8%. So big difference also from last quarter, because last quarter, well, guidance was a big miss. They gave us guidance of $7.9 billion. Markets were expecting 8.9. The number came in at just over $8 billion. Nice 9% beat here on EPS. And then looking at Q3, much better. Revenue $8.8 billion, so that's an increase of 29.2% year over year, and a 3% beat from the market's expectations. And here as well, gross margin, a small miss of 80 basis points, still solid increase year over year. Same for operating margin and EPS. EPS, that's a beat of 5.8% compared to the consensus number, and that's an increase of 153.2% year over year. So yes, this is a company that is growing top and bottom lines quite rapidly. And so the main overview, if you want to pause the screen, it's basically this. We can look at the GAAP, non-GAAP metrics, fiscal year Q2, Q1, and Q2 quarter of a year ago. The company is doing exactly what it should be doing, and that's the most important thing. Now, if you want to visualize it better, of course, this is powered by FinChat. They also support the channel. So if you want to use it, support myself as well, you get 2 weeks for free. This is not a sponsored segment. I just have a link down in the description. You get 15% off. Now, what we can see here is, of course, memory players like Micron, like SK Hynix and Samsung usually work in cycles, right? Especially the memory side of things. But since now you have to add HBM into the equation, I think the cycle will just last for much longer. Now you say, oh yeah, but look at what has happened here quarter over quarter. Yes, there are some short-term headwinds, but HBM is still growing quite rapidly. Now, if we look at compute and networking, which is now their largest segment right here, that has increased 109% year over year. If we look at storage, that's up 53.8%. Now, the two segments that are headwinds are mobile, that's down 33%, and embedded, that's also down 7.7%. And then, of course, you can put all of that into the two segments of the business, which is DRAM and NAND. DRAM is the one that has grown much faster. That's also up 47.3% year over year, whereas NAND is up 18.4% year over year. Now, they told us the following. So with regards to compute and networking business unit, revenue was up 4% sequentially and reached 57% of their total revenue. For the third consecutive quarter, compute and network business unit revenue reached a new quarterly record, driven by a more than 50% sequential increase in HBM revenue. So here, HBM is really taking the center of attention. As for the storage business unit, that was $1.4 billion, down 20% sequentially. The decline was primarily driven by lower storage investments from data center customers after several quarters of very strong growth and overall NAND industry pricing. As for the mobile side, that also declined, that's down 30% sequentially as mobile customers continue to improve their inventory positions. Same for embedded, that was down 3% sequentially. Lower sequential revenue was primarily due to inventory improvements initiatives at autonomous customers. Now, as for the autonomous side of things, they shared an interesting detail here. So advanced robotaxi platforms today contain over 200 gigs of DRAM, or 20 to 30 times higher the amount of DRAM in the average car. So here as well, the huge opportunity for a company like Micron to grow. Continue here with the main overview. Micron is in the best competitive position in their history, and they are achieving share gains across high margin product categories in their industry. In fiscal Q2, data center DRAM revenue reached a new record. HBM revenue grew more than 50% sequentially to a new milestone of over $1 billion of quarterly revenue, and growing quite rapidly. Our HBM shipments were ahead of our plans, demonstrating strong execution of our ongoing ramp. The combination of revenue from high-capacity DRAM modules and our industry-leading LPDRAM for the data center also exceeded the $1 billion milestone for the quarter. And they end here by saying Micron remains the only company in the world to ship low-power DRAM into the data center in high volume, showcasing our pioneering innovation and deep partnerships with our customers for differentiated solutions. They also provided some updates with regards to manufacturing. They said that they're focused on growing HBM capacity in their existing manufacturing facilities to meet requirements through 2026. In January, they broke ground on the HBM advanced packaging facility in Singapore. The investment allows them to meaningfully expand their total advanced packaging capacity beginning calendar 2027, so about 2 years from today. Then moving to Idaho, the DRAM fab construction there completed an important construction milestone that enabled the receipt of the first disbursement of funding from the CHIPS grant for the project during the quarter. The new Idaho fab will provide meaningful DRAM output starting in fiscal 2027. Of course, with the possible cancellation of the CHIPS Act, let's see what happens next. I've been talking about that for some episodes during the live stream with Jose. We've talked about the fact that the CHIPS Act is fine, is good, but $60 billion or so for the entire semiconductor industry, let's be honest, is really not much. Moving on to data center, they said the following. Recently, large hyperscale customers reiterated strong year-over-year growth for the capital investments in calendar 2025. They project mid-single-digit server unit growth in calendar 2025, with growth in both traditional and AI servers. They see strong demand for HBM and once again increased their HBM total addressable market estimate for calendar 25 to over $35 billion. That's a $5 billion increase from the previous number they gave us. They remain on track to reach HBM share similar to their overall DRAM supply share on a run rate basis in calendar Q4 2025. As previously mentioned, Micron is sold out of their HBM output in calendar 2025, so the pricing increase that everybody's been talking about will only impact them starting 2026. They're seeing strong demand for HBM supply in 2026 and are in discussions with their customers on agreements for the calendar 2026 HBM demand. Won't really surprise me if by mid-2025 or so, we start to hear the same thing, that they're sold out for the whole calendar 2026. I think that would be great news. Sharing some specifics here on HBM3E, for example, that delivers a 30% power reduction compared to the competition, and their HBM3E 12H has a remarkable 20% power advantage over competing 8H products while providing a 50% higher memory capacity. We're making good progress on additional platform and customer qualifications with HBM. Micron HBM3E 8H is designed into NVIDIA's GB200 system, and our HBM3E 12H is designed into the GB300. We've talked a lot about memory when we look at, for example, the NVIDIA Rubin platform, and even the one after that, the amount of memory that's needed is just a huge increase, and it's quite clear that Micron will be one of those big winners. The other one is probably SK Hynix. They finished by saying that in fiscal Q2, they initiated volume shipments to their third large HBM3E customer and anticipate additional customers over time. They expect multi-billion dollars in HBM revenue in fiscal 2025. Makes sense? Looking ahead, they're enthusiastic about Micron's HBM4, which will ramp in volume in calendar 2026 in time for NVIDIA's Rubin. Then moving to outlook, we have demand and supply outlook. So they said the following. They forecast calendar 2025 DRAM bit demand growth in the mid to high teens percentage range and NAND in the low double digits percentage range. Over the medium term, they expect industry bit demand growth of mid-teens CAGR for both DRAM and NAND. As for supply, they talk here a little bit about tariffs. So on tariffs, Micron serves as the US importer of record for a very limited volume of products that would be subject to newly announced tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Where tariffs do have an impact, they intend to pass those costs along to their customers. And so right now, looking at the stock, it seems like, the stock overall did respect that uptrend line. We're above the 50, the 200, and the 50-day moving average. RSI is neutral, but it has some momentum, so it's moving on the upside despite the stock being in the same range for quite a long time. Previously, we have seen resistance around, $110, $112 or so. Let's see what happens Friday when the market will open. To me, doesn't really matter that much. I think this was another good quarter by the company, good guidance as well, good commentary. So yeah, I think we're still early here in that huge upcycle thanks to HBM. I think it's going to be a couple of years of huge growth for the company and good margin expansion as well. Although right now they are facing some short-term headwinds when it comes to margin, but HBM is a product with higher margins than the rest. So all in all, very happy that I've opened a position in Micron and very happy that I've been adding under $100. So that's about it. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, all of that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.